Hi, and welcome to Love Your Life with me, Chris Tackett. I am a nurse, a teacher, and a life coach. And the question that I get most often is not about what's a nurse or what's a teacher, but what's a life coach? And in a nutshell, what I do is I help people own their awesome. And it's my dream job because I get to help guide people and help them navigate through rough patches, create new paths to achievement, and improve self-esteem. I get to help you build better relationships and ultimately go from functional to optimal. So it's time for you today. Have you been hiding? Have you been waiting? Well, I want you to knock it off today. It's time to start your day feeling awesome and empowered and ready to go. And I want you to start to learn how to do your thing. And not someone else's idea of what your thing should be either. Your thing. And it's time to live your dream. It's time to shine. It's time to own your awesome. And if not now, then when? And see, you don't really have to put up with that crappy job or your ugly carpet or that relationship that doesn't make you feel like a rock star, because you're spectacular and you've got one life in which to share your awesomeness. And how do I know that? Because I believe that everyone has an awesomeness. Everyone has something valuable to offer. And I'm here to help you realize your goals, your talents, your gifts, your ability, your area of expertise. I want to help you find it. And I'm here to help you make big changes today, right now. I want to help you create a life that lights you up. And I'm here to help you free yourself from fine. I'm here to help you find the confidence to catapult you out of your comfort zone. And I'm here to help you own your awesome. Isn't that kind of exciting? So first things first, why should you even listen to me? Who am I? That question. Well, my story is that I'm a nurse and an educator, and I've been that for about 14 years. I'm a graduate of Kent State University. I have my master's in nursing. I have a minor in psychology, blah, blah, blah. But that's not really the stuff you care about, is it? No, that doesn't make me an expert in someone else's life. I learned the stuff I know, not from books, not from college. I learned it from life experiences. See, I was a bad teen. I was one of those rebellious, angst-ridden, had a lot of emotions that I didn't know what to do with. I couldn't handle them alone. I had no idea how to seek help. I didn't even know there was help. I had low self-esteem. I didn't fit in. My ex-boyfriend actually suicided. I didn't know what to do with that. Bad stuff happens to everyone. It comes into our lives. It's what you do with it that matters. I felt like I should have done better. My parents were wonderful. They were supportive. I was lucky with great family, but there was still just something, And I was really good at wearing a social mask. And my parents had no idea that I had low self-esteem and that I was frustrated and sad and crying every day. They had no idea because I was good at wearing my mask. I got suicidal. I used drugs. I was drinking alcohol. I hid my authentic self and who I was because I was trying to do what I thought was socially acceptable. I was trying to do what I thought everyone else wanted me to do or who I was supposed to be. I hurt somewhere so deep. And I know that a lot of you have been there too. We get that. And my actions showed that. It showed that I didn't love who I was. But I wanted to. This wasn't who I wanted to be. And so how could I bridge that gap? So I went to college because that's what everyone told me I should do. It was a good thing, but I got my degree and I started working, and I realized that working with death and dying, my life was really short and I only had one shot at this. And here I was wasting it, feeling inadequate. And I realized I wanted to live my own version of a messy, thrilling life. And I realized that nothing is a nice, neat, straight line to success. I went through lots of roadblocks and around, and sometimes I went the long way around. But that's okay. Eventually, I found my own kind of success. And I'm still working on finding my success. But I had to get brave to do it. I had to take off my blindfold and really look at my inside stuff. Ugh, I don't know how many of you are brave enough to do that, but we're going to help you get brave today. So fast forward to today, and I've been searching for who I am and why am I here, and I've been tapping into that for a while. I became a pediatric psych nurse. I also worked in detox units and geropsych and regular mental health. But it just wasn't exactly what I wanted. What I wanted was to journey alongside people who really wanted to change. And I wanted to help them, support them, and guide them through that change. That excited me. That lit my fires in my belly. And I want to help you find the stuff that lights your fire in your belly too. Because when that happens, life changes. When I decided to change course and leave traditional workplace, I had no idea what I was doing. But I knew I had a purpose, and I know you have a purpose too. So enough about me, what about you? I know you have a story too, right? So I want you to have pen and paper close by while we're going through this episode, because you may want to take some notes. I'm going to give you some questions in a few minutes, and I want you to start thinking about them. And we're only going to address one of the questions today, but I want you to think about them and then join us for more episodes to get some more answers to the rest of the questions. And if you have any questions in the meantime, please feel free to email me at catackett@hotmail.com. I love to answer questions and help people journey through their lives. So grab that pen and paper, and we're going to talk about goals today, goal setting. And we all have goals, right? I mean, my goal sometimes is just to get out of bed in the morning, right? But I'm talking about bigger goals, life-changing goals. And did you know that if a person doesn't have any goals, they'll die in 5 years? So that's how important setting goals is. That is so important. 5 years. When I read that statistic, it blew my mind. So the purpose of goals is to give your life direction, to move you forward, to give you a framework for what you want. So if they're so powerful, why are we not so good at setting them? Why do we put these things off? Because obviously they're vital. So as you work, your goals may morph and change and take on an entirely new meaning than when you first started with goals. It's very interesting the way that it does. And that's the fun of it. That's what's cool, is that it doesn't stay the same. Okay? And that's also how you know that you're heading in the right direction, is if your goals are changing, it's because you're starting to meet some goals and you're starting to achieve some things, and now you have a new direction. So the first step is I need you to set that critical self aside, just for our episode even. Just set that aside, because so often we sit around and say, well, but I don't have any money to do that. I can't do that because my family won't. I have kids. I have obligation. I work 40 hours. I'm too tired. I'm too fat. I'm too... Whatever is stopping you from making goals, setting goals, reaching goals, set it aside just for a few minutes. Just for a few minutes. And daydream. And imagine that you could do, be, and have anything. How freeing is that thought? That there is nothing standing in your way. Not distance, not time, not money. And you could do or be anything. So I'm going to tell you some questions. And these are questions I'm going to have you write down, and we'll address one each time I do an episode. So the first one is, what is it that you want? What is your goal? And that's what we're going to work on today, is what is your goal? What specifically have you done so far to reach that goal? What's worked and what hasn't? What would be the smallest and easiest step for you? What would be that first step? Some of it might just be getting out of bed half an hour earlier, right? A little bit more time. Tell me how you'll feel once you've completed your actions. Once you've met that goal, what will it feel like? Okay? So those are some of the questions we're going to be answering throughout all of the episodes that I'm going to be doing. So let's start with, what is it that you want? What goal are you trying to achieve? I have some slides so that you can see what I'm talking about here. And the first step to achieving a goal and setting a goal is be specific. Do you want a new car? Well, then get specific about it. What kind of car do you want? Do you want a minivan, a Cadillac, a four-door, a hatchback, a windows, a sunroof, a white car, a blue car, heated seats? And what price range are you looking at? What dealership are you looking at? Have you explored these things? Be really specific about what you want, because just saying I want a new car, it's too vague. You're not going to get what you want. Okay? So be specific. The second one is use positive but also present tense language, which I skipped apparently on my slides. I'm sorry about that. But maybe I added it because it's so important and I forgot to even say it. But a lot of times what we set our goals for are, I don't want to be angry anymore. And while that's a wonderful goal, what you're focusing in on is the anger. It's like me sitting here telling you, don't think about white polar bears. What's the first thing you think about? White polar bears, right? So when you're setting goals, it should be in the positive present tense. So if you're working on anger, let's say, for example, something you might set for your goal is that next time I'm in an angry argument with someone, I am calm and collected during this argument. Okay? Another one you could say is, I am happy and joyful in all aspects of my life. And when you set your goals in those kind of terms, it brings it to you naturally through attraction. Okay? The next step is to be proactive. You have to be the initiator and in control of your own goals. If you say something like, I want my friends to be nicer to me, that puts all the responsibility on them. Where's your responsibility in that, right? It won't work because you're not in control of your friends. Only they're in control of their behaviors. So if you change your language to, I treat my friends the way that I want to be treated in all aspects and in every circumstance, I guarantee you that they'll begin to change because you've started to change. Okay? And if they don't, well, maybe they're not the friends for you in the first place. And that brings me to the next one, which I think might be out of order on this slide too, but it comes naturally in considering consequences. Consider consequences because, like in the above circumstances, you may lose some things. You may lose some old friends because your behaviors are changing, but you'll now attract different people who have similar likes as you, who will forward your life and your goals because of the positive energy they're bringing into you. It's kind of amazing. And I'm not saying go dump all of your friends, right? But I'm saying allow yourself to be open to attracting new relationships that help you reach your goals, who are on the same kind of wavelength as you are. The next one is make a plan. Make a plan for your goals, because if you don't make a plan, someone else is going to do it for you. If you're not involved, if you're not positive, if you don't have this plan, someone else is going to tell you what you should be doing. Someone else is going to be driving your car, and they may not be headed in the destination that you want to go. As you can see, a well-formed goal will give you a very clear vision that will motivate you and move you forward in your life. So I want to give you sort of an example. Let's imagine that you want to plan a birthday party. And that's something that most of us have done at some point in our lives, planned a birthday party for somebody else. Let's plan it for somebody else, okay? And when we plan a birthday party, it just doesn't happen, right? By magic, we go, I'm going to have a party, and people show up, right? You make these goals and lots of little goals to get you to the big goal of having this wonderful party, right? So there's a formula for this. And I like formulas because it sort of gives us a nice outline or a framework for how to act. It's also something to trigger our brains to help us remember, where am I supposed to be going here? So my formula is I plus V equals R. I plus V equals R. Imagination plus vividness equals reality. So let me explain a little bit about how that formula works, because it's really quite exciting. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to invest in anything except your imagination. How cool is that? So we're planning this birthday party, and we're sitting on our couch, and we go, I'm going to have a birthday party for my friend. Let me imagine what I would like it to be like. Well, this birthday party is going to be when? Summertime, wintertime, that's going to make a difference of your venue, right? And so you imagine, what's the weather going to be like? What if it rains? What if it snows? What if it's icy, right? And you imagine, where are people going to park? Where should I have it? What does this person enjoy? Do they enjoy being out to dinner, out, at Chuck E. Cheese if it's a child? Would they rather come to my house? Is my house big enough? Do I have a relative that might invite everyone over? And you start planning, right? And what are you doing? You're imagining what this party's going to be like. Who am I going to invite, right? If you haven't imagined it, you're going to have a whole bunch of adults at your kid's Mickey Mouse birthday party, and that's not going to work. Right? Your child's probably not going to enjoy it as much as if you invited all of their 6-year-old friends, right? But all of that came from your imagination. Isn't that cool? So we are imagining, okay, we talked about a Mickey Mouse birthday party. Okay, so now I want to think about all the Mickey Mouse themed decorations I could have. And then you start getting creative with food. Then you find your resources, which was another step on that list of finding resources. And where do we go a lot now? Internet, right? All the resources we need is right there. Pinterest, how many of you have Pinterest pages, right? Full of goals. All of your Pinterest pages are goals, places you want to end up, places you would like to be, things you'd like to do in your life, books you'd like to read, food you'd like to serve at your party, right? It's an imagination. And what you're doing with something like a Pinterest page, or we start to make a grocery list of all the food we want to buy for a party, you're imagining and you're creating a vividness that makes it into reality. So then we take our imagination and we bring it to life, and we add color and dimension, and then we start making lists, which brings it into reality, right? Now I'm going to go shopping for all of the food and decorations that I've imagined. And now the day of the party comes, and how close does it look to what you imagined, right? It's almost exact because you were so vivid and your imagination brought it to life. So we've all done it with a party or some such thing, right? Why can't we do it for everything else we want in our life? It's that simple. And that just blows me away that it's that simple, that I just imagine it and it can come true. If you've ever played a sport, your coach may have told you at some point, before you go to sleep at night, because this is when your brain is the most receptive to new information, imagine yourself hitting a home run. Imagine yourself kicking the game-winning goal. Imagine yourself shooting the game-winning dunk, right? Because when you imagine it, it now can be placed in reality. So powerful. The other thing I want to share with you, and I want you to think about this, share your goals only with people who will be supportive of you. Even well-meaning people will shoot down your goals because they don't want you to get hurt. They don't want you to be disappointed. They don't want you to get embarrassed, you know? And so they think they're being well-meaning and they shoot you down with all kinds of negative things, why you shouldn't go for it, right? And we're imagining these things anyways. We don't need that. We need people who are going to be our cheerleaders and say, you go get them, you got it, you know? So find someone in your life. You don't need to share it with everyone. Share it with one person who will support you and be your cheerleader, because that's how you get things done. They help put you in that right mindset of I can do it, because we all have that little guy in the back of our brain going, you can't do this. This is not for you. You are too scared. You're too fat. You're too slow. You're too whatever, right? That talks to us all the time. And we have to be the ones who say, stop. I can do this. And another thing to remember is our brains are, and this is science, this is pure fact, our brains are sort of like Velcro for the negative stuff. The negative stuff sticks on there and it sticks on there tight. So you only have to hear one negative thing and it's stuck. And the positive, our brains are like Teflon for the positive. We hear a positive thing and it slides right off. And it slides right off. And it slides right off. But boy, we hang on to the negative stuff. It's the way our brains are wired. So as you go forth today and enjoy your day, I want you to think about that and rip those negatives off. You have to take some effort to get that negative stuff out of there and try to hold on to those positives. And next time someone compliments you or your ability, just say thank you. Because what we do is say, oh, this old thing, right? I just threw this on. Oh, my hair looks terrible today. It's raining out, right? Just say thank you. Because once we start accepting those things, our esteem starts to build, and then we can start reaching goals. I hope that I could give you some new perspective, and that when you tune in for the next episode, we'll learn more about owning your awesome. And in the meantime, if you have any questions at all or want some feedback on your own goals or some support, please feel free to email me. I'm Chris Tackett, and my email is catackett@hotmail.com. I can't wait to spend another half hour with you next week. Enjoy your day. Thank you.